batch of 5th grade head cases.
Let's just get through it.
I hope everyone's met our class pets, Leonardo and Squirtle. I'm not touching those things.
Don't they eat, sleep, and poo in the same place?
Hey, I poo where he sleeps.
I feel a hunger, it's a hunger.
That lizard looks pretty old.
Anticipation is running through me.
Do I look old? Thank you.
I can feel you.
No animal wants to be locked up. I wasted my life.
This year, every student has to take home a class pet.
This is my shot. Are you nuts? So I go with these kids, then I escape, and then I really live. It's on. Ow! Mother of Godzilla!
What was that?
You just spoke!
Mom!
No!
You talked!
No! People can't know!
Why are your hands wet?
They're naturally moist.
You're talking to them.
These kids are all benefiting from my 74 years of wisdom.
Everyone thinks I'm weird.
Kid, they don't even know you. Try doing this. Wait.
Leo!
First one? Usually it's in the front, but very nice. You're growing up.
No. It's my dad.
Eesh.
What is so special about this reptile?
You made me feel like I could do anything.
This is gonna end badly.
This is a tough time, but these are the best years, believe me. This is incredible!
Here are 10 movies I think are great to watch on Thanksgiving with your family. So happy Thanksgiving to my Canadians out there. We celebrate Thanksgiving in October. So the first one is Spider-Man 1. Honestly, watch the whole trilogy, but with Spider-Man 1, that iconic Thanksgiving dinner scene, come on, I have to include this movie. So first one is Spider-Man 1. Next, we have Soul Food, really good movie. Obviously, I have to include Thanksgiving. This is a slasher film that came out last year. I really loved it. So come on, you can't go wrong with a slasher set on Thanksgiving. Next, we have Addams Family Values. This one, the Addams Family, just the vibe screams Thanksgiving or, spooky season. So I think just this time is all about family as well. So this one's a good one to watch. Next is You Got Mail, for obvious reason. If you guys haven't checked this movie out, please go watch it. Next is Freebirds. This one I really enjoyed. I know a lot of people did not like this Freebirds animated movie. It's about Thanksgiving as well. So I personally liked it. If you guys haven't seen Freebirds, I would suggest you guys watch this one. It's not that bad. Trust me, okay? Obviously, you got a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Tower Heist. This one's a really good comedy that takes place around Thanksgiving as well. So I would recommend you guys watch this one. Knives Out is like the ultimate Thanksgiving movie. So yeah, this one for sure. Also, Fantastic Mr. Fox. This one's a good one to watch around for Thanksgiving time. I realize I've already given 10, but just a bonus one I think is Instant Family. This time is all about family, and I think this one is a good one. So if you guys haven't seen Instant Family, I would suggest you check it out. Those are 10 movies you should watch this Thanksgiving. Also, let me know what movies you enjoy to watch during this holiday season. And yeah.
This is the best Thanksgiving movie to watch with your family this week, and it's so slept on. Steve Carell plays a single dad to 3 girls, and they all go to his family's lake house to celebrate Thanksgiving together. If you like the setting and the vibes of the proposal, this is similar to that, just a little bit deeper, and I think a little more heartwarming. Family dynamics are at play, adult siblings, grandparents, there are some twists. You'll laugh, you'll cry. It's called Dan in Real Life. I think one of the reasons it never took off is because this cover art does not convey the movie whatsoever. Also, you won't be embarrassed watching it with your parents. It's clean, it's free on Amazon Prime and Disney+, and the music's really good.
We're going back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu. That's right. We're going back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu.
For all my United States followers, Thanksgiving is coming, and for most people that means you're going to go back home, meet with your family, everyone's coming together. So here are 5 movies that I recommend you watch on this Thanksgiving that just perfectly emphasize the Thanksgiving vibe. You've Got Mail has so many beautiful shots of the great autumn foliage, and it has scenes that actually end up happening right on Thanksgiving Day. The movie's on HBO Max right now. It's a great watch. This is a perfect one for Thanksgiving for you and the family. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is just the quintessential Thanksgiving travel movie. Outside of Thanksgiving as a whole, it's just a great movie, plain and simple, and you're probably overdue for a rewatch, or if you haven't seen it, you definitely have to watch it. But adding for the fact that it's all about a man trying to travel home to his family for Thanksgiving, perfect Thanksgiving family movie. You can watch it for free on Pluto TV. Fantastic Mr. Fox has so many scenes of great feasts that are perfectly fit for Thanksgiving. On top of that, it's just simply an awesome film. It's by Wes Anderson, and you can watch it for free on so many different services. It's on YouTube, Disney+, Prime Video. It's free. Go watch it. If you're feeling spendy this Thanksgiving, there's 2 movies that are Thanksgiving related that you could rent. Scent of a Woman, all about a New York City Thanksgiving week. You got Al Pacino, you got New York City in the fall. What more could you want? And this is just genuinely a great film that I think also a lot of people just haven't seen or you're overdue for a rewatch. Lastly, another one that you can rent is Knives Out. Obviously, the sequel's coming out in theaters for 1 week only, just in a couple days, or actually tomorrow. This is a great crime whodunit, perfectly fit for the family. And if somehow you haven't seen it by now, get on that thing. There's 5 movies, but the number one thing I'm watching and most people watching, and the number one thing I'd recommend everyone watching is football on Thanksgiving. Gotta be done.
So there are weirdly not a lot of Thanksgiving movies, but if you're looking for something to watch with your family when you feel like a blob after dinner, I have 3 underrated Thanksgiving movies to watch. Pieces of April is an indie gem from 20 years ago, but it still holds up. It stars Katie Holmes in her effort to host a Thanksgiving dinner for her estranged family. It's a really touching movie about family dynamics, forgiveness, and feeling grateful for the people in your life. It has a very sweet ending, so if you want to watch this one, it's streaming free on Tubi. Speaking of heartwarming, Home for the Holidays is directed by Jodie Foster and is a rom-com about, you guessed it, a dysfunctional family coming together for Thanksgiving. It also stars a very young Robert Downey Jr., who has some funny one-liners, and if you want to watch this one, it's streaming on Showtime. Krisha is not a heartwarming movie I would recommend to watch with family after dinner. It's not labeled a horror film, but the tone and pacing is very intense and makes it feel like one. This is a very low-budget indie movie that was filmed in the director's house with his own family in 9 days. It kind of reminds me of the Christmas episode of The Bear, so if that kind of anxiety is your thing, you'll probably like this movie. It's streaming on Max. If you want more recommendations of movies you probably haven't seen, or to add these to your queue so you remember to watch them, download Witch in the App Store.
Starting off with one of my favorite Tim Burton movies ever made. That's a hard thing to say, but it's true. Frankenweenie has held such a special place in my heart for such a long time. This is the animated version, but there's also a live-action short version. They're both on Disney+. The live-action version was the first time I had ever seen Frankenweenie. My mom showed it to my brother and me when we were kids, and it was so good that I knew when the animated version came out, I would love it just as much, and I actually like the animated version better. It's rated PG. It is essentially just a story about a boy who loves his dog so much that he's willing to do anything to be with him. So he brings his dog back to life, and then chaos kind of ensues. He has to convince the town that his dog Sparky is the same dog that he always was, even though he is undead now. This is perfect for the family. If you have pets, your children will completely understand this story. If you are a parent to young children, it's likely that you grew up watching Halloween Town. This is a 90s movie that made its way into the canon, and I just think this film actually stands the test of time. It is so magical, it's so pretty, it's so just enthralling. I think that your kids are going to get a huge kick out of this. If you just love kids' movies, you already know how great this one is, and this should already be on your roster to watch this Halloween. We also have The Little Vampire. This one's rated PG. And it's a story about a kid who moves to a new town with his parents, and he's just super lonely. He's looking for friends, and he finally makes friends with this vampire child. And then it becomes up to this kid to save vampire kind. I think this movie is really special because it centers mostly around the children and how they can help adults, and I think that's a really important message to teach your children. This is great. Perfect Halloween movie. Not too scary. This one is rated PG though, so be careful. Hocus Pocus was actually a movie that I was kind of scared of when I was a kid. I think the witches just kind of freaked me out, but I was also scared of a lot of things, so don't really take my word for it. I would just say maybe don't show it to super young children. This one is rated PG. We all know Hocus Pocus. This is a great one. If your kids are kind of campy and they like musical theater, stuff like that, I feel like Hocus Pocus would be a really good one to show them. Basically anything you can show your kids that is Addams Family, I think is an important lesson to teach, because it's all about being very accepting of who you are and like your quirks and everything, and how we shouldn't really judge people. I think there's amazing messaging in any of the Addams Family stories. I'm obviously quite partial to the real live action version, but there's also an animated version, which is maybe suited for little kids a little bit more. I think they're both so important though, and the characters are just so quirky and funny. Okay, I used to live in London, so any British TV to me is just gold. I love it more than any American cinema for some reason. The Amazing Maurice, Sky Original, which is a British company, it is so good. Like, I don't have children. I just went out of my way to watch this because I love children's Halloween movies, and it's not super Halloween-y. It's set in fall time, but it's not a Halloween story. It's essentially about a Pied Piper. It is so good. I could not stop raving about this movie. Nobody wanted me to keep talking because I just kept talking about how good this was. This movie is essentially about a cat, a couple rats, and 2 humans who team up to take on this big, giant, mysterious monster who's stealing food from this town. It's funny, and it's really good. It does have like a little bit of suggestive language, so I would maybe say don't show it to younger children, but they might not understand, which could be fine. It is rated PG though, just so you know. My dad was obsessed with Wallace and Gromit when we were kids, so he showed us everything. The Curse of the Were-Rabbit is so wholesome and just a good Halloween movie. It's rated G, so it's not too scary. And this is essentially about Wallace and Gromit. They're teaming up. They find this kind of dark force eating all the vegetables in town, and it's threatening this harvest competition, and they have to solve the mystery and get the monster before the harvest. They are pest control specialists, but they do it in a very humane way, which is a good thing, I think, to show children. Lastly, this is another 90s that I don't think gets as much credit as it deserves. I love Casper Everything. It's almost like Scooby-Doo to me. My dad really raised us loving Casper as a franchise, and this one's so good. It's about a girl who moves into this kind of haunted mansion with her father, and she befriends Casper, the friendly ghost. We all know him and we all love him. This one's so wholesome. It's a little bit more mature. It's like dealing with teenagers, so I would say it's definitely a PG rating. So maybe just don't show it to younger children. But other than that, it's funny. The uncles are funny. It's a great show, and it teaches a lot about loss. The main character loses her mother. Casper is obviously a ghost. I think that's a really important thing to communicate. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other recommendations for children's shows or movies that should be in this, please let me know in the comments.
I made a little bit of money.